What up, guys? GangstaPranksta here, bringing the weekly wrestling review for sometime in October. So I know I'm really behind in this series, but just some things came up, and then I fell behind in this. But now it's time to catch up. It's probably the longest I've ever been behind. I'm behind about 2 months, a little bit more than 2 months, about 2 days over 2 months. I'm still in October. And we're almost into January, so that's pretty ridiculous. But here we are to review some stuff, so let me do my intro. Welcome to the Weekly Wrestling Review. If you're new to the show, this is where we talk everything about professional wrestling, from news, reviews to predictions. We talk about it all, so if you're a fan of professional wrestling, welcome to the show. On today's show, we have reviews for Bound for Glory 2013, Hell in a Cell 2013, 2 weeks with the RAW, Smackdown, Impact, NXT, and Ring of Honor. The reason it took me so long to do this is because there was 4 pay-per-view reviews to do. Now, usually, ever since TNA cut down on their pay-per-views and stuff, very rarely does this happen. Very rarely do I get just so fucked with 4 pay-per-views in the span of 2 weekends, so that's why it took so long. I didn't even end up watching them all. What I ended up doing is I watched half of them. I'm going to watch the next half for the next weekly wrestling review. So it was supposed to be Bound for Glory, Hell in a Cell, Ring of Honor, Glory by Honor, I think 11, and TNA One Night Only, the World Heavyweight Tournament or whatever. I didn't end up watching Glory by Honor or the TNA One Night Only show. We'll do that on the next weekly wrestling review. But yeah, so that's something you gotta look forward to on the next one already. So anyways, let's not waste any more time and just jump right into it, because there is a lot to talk about. Just a bunch of stuff I want to talk about, and yeah, so let's just jump in. So first, let's start out with Bound for Glory 2013, because that's where we left off. So the show started. There was a pre-show. I didn't get to watch it. I tried to find it online. I couldn't find it anywhere. So let's talk about the show as a whole. Going into the show, my expectations were really low. Like, the card just looked terrible, especially for TNA's biggest show of the year. And I don't know if I'm happy or sad to say, but my expectations weren't really they were set at a low, and they were pretty much achieved. I didn't think very much of this pay-per-view going into it, but I think it was pretty good to okay. But when I think about For Glory and whatever, it being TNA's biggest pay-per-view of the year, it's not supposed to be pretty good. It's supposed to be good to really good. It's supposed to be a must-watch show, and they just didn't deliver, especially for the biggest show of the year. So let's break the show down. So we started with the Ultimate X match: Jeff Hardy, Samoa Joe, Manic, Austin Aries, Chris Sabin, 5 men in an Ultimate X match for the X Division title. This is a pretty good way to start the show. Sabin won. He ended up being the new X Division champion. And I thought it was a pretty good match. There was some stuff I didn't like the ladder being involved, because throughout the Ultimate X history, it was like, ladders are illegal. You can't win the match by them. If you grab the title with the ladder, you can't win. And that's the end spot. It was so stupid. Like, they got the ladder involved. Jeff Hardy got involved, and he brought it in the ring. And Sabin used it to climb the Ultimate X and win. Like, he used the ladder to get the title, and that's how he won. So automatically, I really did not like that finish. I thought it sucked. Especially, it took away from the Ultimate X match. It was like, why is this an Ultimate X match and not a ladder match? Since Jeff Hardy set this whole thing up, he was like, hey, I want to do something I've never done. I want to do an Ultimate X match. Why didn't he just say, I want to do a match that's, signifies the X Division or whatever, that will play to the X Division's strengths. We're going to have a ladder match. I honestly don't know why they made this an Ultimate X match. It was a complete disappointment as an Ultimate X match. Probably, like, the worst match ever. Not the worst Ultimate X match, but just in terms of it actually being an Ultimate X match. It was a pretty good match. But as an Ultimate X match, it sucked. It was very minimal stuff with the ropes and stuff, but and the use of the ladder really took away from the match, especially since, as fans from TNA for like a pretty long time, that the ladder is not allowed in this match. So I thought it was really stupid that they didn't do anything But whatever, so let's talk about some things in the match. I don't remember this, but in my notes I have Aries looked like he almost broke his leg. I don't remember that spot. It looked like Sabin died. I don't remember that spot either. I remember this spot. Sabin looked like an idiot. Okay, so Aries and Manic, they were fighting on the ladder. And they were fighting on the ladder. Sabin comes in, pushes him off. And instead of climbing up the ladder, like no one was in the ring, everyone was down. Instead of climbing up the ladder, he went to attack Jeff Hardy. I thought that was really stupid. You know, the whole point of an Ultimate X match is to climb up and get the title. And he's like, I'll just go attack Jeff Hardy. And I thought he looked like an idiot for doing that. So, yeah, but another thing, I thought this match would have been longer, especially since there was only like 6 matches announced for the card. This was a pretty short match. It was about 13 minutes. I thought it would have gone like 20, honestly, especially for an opening match. I thought this would have been a little bit longer. But it was fine for what it was. Like I said, I didn't really like the fact the ladder got involved. But overall, it was pretty good. So yeah, that was that. That was the start. Next, we have Bad Influence comes out, complains that, you know, they're not on BFG and they're not on the main card and stuff. Eric Young comes out and tells them to run. They beat him up. Abyss makes his return, and Abyss comes out and destroys Bad Influence. I don't know what this is going to lead to. I've been kind of keeping up with Impact over the past few weeks, and Eric Young's like, oh, Joseph Park, you are Abyss, you know. I think this is really going to hurt the Abyss character in the end, especially, you know, like, I don't know, the Abyss character has just been on the downhill for so long. You know, first it was like he did too many hardcore matches, and then they always put him in a hardcore match, and then they had him talking, and they took James Mitchell away from him, and then they had the stuff when he had the white suit, and then when they gave him Janice, and he attacked RVD, and then Hogan with the ring, and just Abyss has been just shit on ever since. It's been downhill, like, so fast. I mean, I'm happy Abyss is back, because I really like the Abyss character. And I think it will add a lot to TNA. Honestly, I think Abyss coming back will be really good for TNA in the roster. Instead of having Joseph Park, who is supposed to be a lawyer turned wrestler, let's actually just have a wrestler. You know, let's have the Monster Abyss back. I'm wondering if this is all going to turn into Abyss turning on Eric Young and turning into a heel. That'd be pretty cool, since TNA has some heels. You know, they got Bobby Roode. He's pretty much the top heel. As of right now, I'm talking about, like, in the little, when I'm reviewing these shows, this is October, Bobby Roode's pretty much the top heel. Then you got Bully Ray. And now, you know, present time right now, Magnus is a top heel. You know, he's got his little group with Dixie and Rockstar Spud and Ethan Carter. And I want to talk about, well, we'll talk about more about this in the, in the news section, but I really like, I don't know how I feel about TNA's direction that they're going in right now. I like it and I don't like it. I think it's kind of weird. I like the fact that, you know, Zima Ion's back. You know, he's the DJ Zima Ion. Bow, 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 bow. I think that's cool. You know, they found something for him to do. They found something for Rockstar Spud to do. They found something for Sam Shaw to do. He's doing this Samuel Shaw thing with Christy Hemme. And I'm really interested to see what they do with that, because they haven't, I haven't watched up until now, but they haven't really done anything with him, I believe, on TV. Everything that they've done with him so far as the Samuel Shaw character, has all been on the website, on the YouTube series and videos. So I'm interested to see what they're doing with that. But I like the whole direction, like what the company's doing with some of the characters and using some of the people that they haven't been for a while. Someone I'd like to see them use more is Kenny King. I'd like to see Kenny King do a little bit more in the X division and stuff, and be involved with that. And yeah, but as a whole, I haven't watched it, just the stuff that I've been reading. I kind of like the direction that TNA is going in now, especially with no more Hogan, and no more Aces and Eights, and no more Eric Bischoff, and all that bullshit. Like I said, we'll talk more about that in the news section, but I'm really liking the direction of TNA, and I like Abyss coming back. We finally get to get rid of Joseph Park. So, like I said, I don't know what the whole plan is in the end with the Eric Young Abyss thing. Is Abyss going to turn heel, or are they going to turn to a tag team? We'll just have to wait and see. Next we have the Bromans versus Gunner and James Storm in a TNA Tag Team title match. So the Bromans won the pre-show match. They won the #1 contender shot, so they faced Gunner and Storm. It was a pretty good match. Bromans win and are the new TNA Tag Team champions. I've watched some stuff of them on Impact, and they're pretty good as champions. I haven't seen their stuff with Zemayon yet, so I don't know how that's working out. But them as the TNA Tag Team champions, I think, well, I was about to say, I think they're the best TNA tag team in TNA, but that's definitely Bad Influence, hands down. No one will ever dethrone Bad Influence as the best tag team in TNA. But Bromans are pretty good as well. Especially since TNA doesn't really have a tag team division. I wish they would put more of a main focus in there. I mean, if you look at WWE, they've put a main focus. You know, you got the Usos, primetime players, the Shield, the Rhodes brothers, R-Truth and Xavier Woods now, the Real Americans. There's just 3MB. There's so many tag teams. I can't even keep track of them. Where before it's like, oh, you got this tag team, and this tag team. Done. That's all the tag teams. But now there's so many I can't even keep track. On TNA, it's like I can name all the tag teams. And I don't want to be able to name all the tag teams. I want to be like, oh yeah, there's this tag team, and that tag team, and this and that. Their tag team division just really sucks right now. I hope that's one of their main focuses is going into 2014, is to do some more stuff with that. And I know they're teasing the breakup of James Storm and Gunner already. Like, I watched the Feast and Fired thing, and when I heard about who won the briefcases, I immediately knew. I'm like, Chavo's fired, because Gunner's pretty important in the programming right now. So's Ethan Carter, and who's the other one? Zemayon? Yeah, it was either Zemayon or Chavo. I knew one of them was going to get fired, but Chavo hasn't appeared more on TV recently, so I'm like, okay, it's probably Chavo. It ended up being Chavo, so now Chavo and Hernandez, they're not a tag team anymore. They're probably going to bring in another Mexican guy for Hernandez to team with, and that's just been the case, because, you know, it just seems like Hernandez, I don't know if he's better in a tag team, but they just always seem to be like, oh, we might do something with him in the singles. No, let's just do tag team, because they brought in Homicide for him. They did some stuff with Matt Morgan, then they brought in Anarchia, then they brought in Chavo, so they're probably going to bring in someone else for him. And, so yeah, now Chavo and Hernandez are gone. Gunner got the world, or not, Hernandez isn't gone, but they're not a tag team anymore. Gunner's he's got a world title shot. There was some tension when it was revealed that he won the world title shot. So, you know, who's the tag team in TNA anymore? You got the Bromans, Bad Influence, possibly Abyss and Eric Young, and that's about it off the top of my head. So, I hope to see some more tag teams in TNA very soon. Next we got Sting comes out to induct Kurt Angle into the Hall of Fame. Angle comes out, thanks for everyone supporting him, and then he declines the TNA Hall of Fame. He says he's let people down that he cares about, and he's going to try and become a better person, and when he does, then he can join the Hall of Fame. He'll feel like he's actually earned it. I thought this was terrible. I thought they shit all over the TNA Hall of Fame. Like, this is the second year, and it's already turned into shit. Like, I thought that was stupid. You know, Angle, yeah, he's had some troubles in his personal life, but a lot of wrestlers have. His is just more public. I don't know, him just turning it down, I thought it was terrible. Hopefully they can play it more into a storyline, especially with Bobby Roode. But, I don't know how that's going to turn out. We'll just have to wait and see. But I didn't really like that. I thought it made TNA's Hall of Fame look shitty, especially on live pay-per-view. He's like, nah, I don't deserve to be in there. Like, come on, just accept it, you know? And then kind of maybe build into that with the Bobby Roode thing. Make Bobby Roode say, hey, you know what, you don't deserve it. You know, look at all the shit you've done lately. You know, I've beat you and blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I didn't really like that too much. I thought I'd just shit all over TNA's Hall of Fame. What else? Next we had ODB, Gail Kim, Brooke Tessmacher in a 3-way for the Knockouts title. Pretty good match. Gail won and is the new Knockouts champion after Lady Tapa comes out and helps her. She had a sick powerbomb on Brooke. That was pretty cool. But it seemed like you know, Lady Tapa she was gonna come in, she was gonna be the new dominant force in the women's division and possibly be the new Awesome Kong. But then it ends up turning out that she's now with Gail Kim. She's kind of her bodyguard, which is very similar to what WWE is doing. You know, WWE has AJ and Tamina, and TNA has Gail and Lady Tapa. So that definitely seems like it's gonna end up with Lady Tapa turning on Gail. You know, Gail will be like, "Hey, I defeated everybody. I'm the best women's wrestlers ever," and then Tapa's like, "But you never beat me," and then probably clotheslines her, and that'll be a big match for the Knockouts title. That's another division that's pretty lackluster right now. The Knockouts division, it sucks. Let's admit it, it's pretty awful. I know Madison Rayne just came back. Now, I don't know if that's full-time or maybe just a surprise, but that's cool. She's not going to help make it better. I mean, she will in her own little way. But as a whole, they need more knockouts. That's honestly what it comes down to. They need more knockouts, they need more tag teams, and they need more X Division wrestlers. So, yeah, that's, I don't know. I like the way they're going in now, but, you know, building up the new stars. But sometimes you just need some of those WWE names. Sometimes you need, I don't know, who are some guys? Maybe a Matt Hardy, a Chris Masters. Now I'm not saying for TNA to bring in those guys, but they do have some brand name to them. Like I said, I'm not telling TNA like, oh, you should bring in these guys. I'm just saying, you know, along with the new talent that you have, you also need some old talent there. Like Ring of Honor does it very well. You know, not only do we have new guys like the American Wolves and Kevin Steen and whatever, but you also have guys like Steve Corino and, well, you used to have Jim Cornette, but, you know, you just had your veterans and legends there to not counteract, but you need a balance of both. You need, you know, the young talent, and sometimes you need the legends and veterans that'll help give the company some value. Let's admit it, it's some value. So, what were we talking? Oh, we're talking about the knockouts. Okay, I don't know how we trailed off to whatever I was talking about, but yeah, some more knockouts would be nice. Honestly, right now, WWE probably has the better Divas division, which is weird. It's all because of Total Divas. Total Divas has made the WWE put more of an emphasis on the Divas, so that's good. Does TNA need a Total Divas type show? No, they just need knockouts. That's all they need right now. So, we'll see where that leads. Next, we have Kurt Angle versus Bobby Roode. This is probably match of the night. It was a really good back-and-forth wrestling match. Really enjoyed this. Did not like the ending, though. Like, I remember watching this live. When I was watching the Bound for Glory stuff, I was recording the last weekly wrestling review I did, and I had a stream of Bound for Glory up, and I just kind of wanted to keep up what was going on. And I was watching the end of this match, and I'm like, wow, that looks like shit. You know, they went for the angle slam, and then they almost counted to 10, and then Roode fell on him, 1, 2, 3, pin. I was like, what? That is terrible. Watching it live, well, not live, but like actually watching it and seeing it whole. And I'll talk about that more in the main event, because the main event, I saw a little bit of the stream, and I'm like, wow, that looks like shit. But watching it as a whole, it's like, oh, you know what? That was a pretty good match. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So anyways, that match, it was good, really good, but the end just sucked. It was just a series of shit. So you had the top rope angles. Oh, no. Let's talk about the spot first. With the ref, where Angle had him in an ankle. Angle had Roode in an ankle lock. And, you know, it looked like Roode was going to pass out from the pain or whatever. And the ref picks up Roode's arm, and it looks like he put it on the ropes. The crowd just absolutely shit on this. And as a fan, I was like, wow, that looked terrible. I think what happened was the ref went to pick up his arm, and as he did that, Roode went to, like, reach for the ropes. and maybe it was just like some miscommunication or a mistiming, and it just looked really, really bad. It looked like the ref was helping Roode screw Angle. So anyways, they had that. Then they had the Angle goes for the top rope Angle slam. Apparently, Angle knocked himself out. I don't know if this was legitimate or to help into the story, but it seemed like a shoot. It seemed like something really did happen to Angle because, okay, so they both went. They did the Angle slam spot, whatever. They're both lying down for the ref counts to 9. Roode gets up. Angle doesn't move, and then Roode just falls on top of Angle. 1, 2, 3. Roode your winner. And it was just like, what? Like, that was the worst finish ever. Like, that was just terrible. And yeah, so I don't know if he knocked himself out. I don't, that's what Taz said. But I don't know if that legitimately happened. I know something happened to Angle. I don't know if he knocked himself out or his neck or whatever. Or it might be just a storyline. Maybe someone could tell me in the comments, because I really don't know. I was really like, is this fake, or is this actually a legitimate injury towards Angle? So I honestly couldn't tell. If it was legitimate, props to TNA, because I really thought Angle hurt himself. But I think Angle really did hurt himself, so that sucks. Hopefully he's feeling better. After the match, EMTs come out and stretch your Angle, but he's like, nah, I'm gonna walk away. It's not like he walked away, he kind of just limped away and stuff, so that was that. So yeah, besides the ending, that's probably the best thing on the pay-per-view. So, yeah. Next we have backstage, we see Bully Ray. Now, I watched this live as well on the stream, and I was like, this is interesting. It seemed like... Okay, so let's break it down. So Bully Ray was talking to some people backstage, but the people were cut off by the camera. And he made it seem like the Aces and Eights might be getting some new members. Or maybe, Devon or D'Lo Brown or some shit is coming back. So he said, he was like, they thought you were dead. They thought you left. And they thought you would never trust me again. To 3 separate people. Now, I don't know if he was, maybe he was talking to Garrett Bischoff and Nux and Brooke Tessmacher. Because those are the only 3 members left in the Aces and Eights. But it seemed like they teased like there was going to be something new. Like maybe 3 new debuting people. Maybe 3 new people coming back. Because if you really listen to what he said, they thought you were dead. Now, if you think about any of the members that were in Aces and Eights, none of them really were dead or whatever, or presumed to be dead. So I don't know who that person could have been. They said they thought you left, which could have been Doc, because, the whole Doc and Mr. Anderson thing, that never got settled. So that could have been him. And then they said they thought you would never trust me again. And that could have been either Devon or maybe Wes Briscoe. Even the they thought you were dead thing, maybe that could have been Mr. Anderson. I don't know. It could have been, but I don't know. It seemed like they were teasing something and somebody for Bound for Glory, but they never ended up doing anything with it. So I don't know if they scrapped that or whatever, or maybe I missed something. But yeah, it just seemed like they were gonna tease something and it just never went through. So I was just kind of like, huh? So that was next we had the debut of Ethan Carter III versus Norv Vernon. I want to talk about EC3 a little bit. I'm liking the character, but looking back on it now, I think they handled it pretty terribly. At least his debut. And leading up to his debut, because leading up to his debut, first we saw the promo package. We just saw EC3, trouble, 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 all that shit. And then as the weeks went on, we saw a face, we saw his Derek Bateman, and whatever. And then the minor detail that it was a big detail, but they saved it for last, I don't know why, was that he was Dixie Carter's nephew. And it's like, why are you treating someone's debut that could possibly be big, especially if you're involving him with Dixie, who's kind of the top heel in the company now, and then you're bringing in her nephew? Why are you bringing or showing promo packages like it's just another wrestler? You know, I thought that was kind of dumb. Looking back on it now, I think they should have debuted him on an Impact. You know, 1 week have AJ do something to Dixie that pisses her off. Dixie's backstage, she's angry. Here walks in EC3. Hey, Aunt D, how you doing? She's pissed off because of AJ. He's like, yo, I'll go handle this for you, Aunt D. And she's like, no, not yet. The world's not ready for you yet. And whatever, and you just build it up over the next couple weeks, and you make it seem like he's a pretty important thing. And if you really think about it, he's pretty important because he's related to Dixie, and she's a top heel. So you can automatically do some big stuff with Ethan Carter. But the fact that they just made it seem like, oh, there's this guy. Oh, yeah, he's related to Dixie. Oh, we forgot to mention that. I'm like, what? That's such a... I thought it was a wasted opportunity. I thought they could have handled this better. And, you know, do some of the stuff that I talked about. You know, do some backstage segments. Kind of build them up like that. You know, maybe 1 week have him walk in with a couple chicks. You know, make it seem like he's, like some Playboy stuff. And, you know, he's like, Aunt D, I'm ready. And, you know, she goes, oh, yeah, you are ready. And we're going to show the world on the biggest stage of them all. Because you're a Carter. At Bound for Glory, you're going to have a match. And I thought that would have been amazing. Like I said, I didn't really like this debut and leading up to it. But now, looking back on it now, I'm like, yeah, this was done pretty terribly. So, I don't know if they feel the same way, but that's just my opinion. So anyways, he took on Nor Vernum. This wasn't a great match. It was a pretty blah. You know, it was a typical jobber match for a new superstar. So it was nothing special. It was alright for what it was. And like I said, if they built up to that whole relationship between Dixie and Ethan and like, you know, he's her nephew and whatever, it would have made sense instead of just having, oh, here's Derek Bateman, he's Ethan Carter now, and he's going to have a match on the biggest TNA pay-per-view of the year. If they built it up and saying, this is his nephew and he's getting this match because of special treatment, it would have worked out very, very well. But like I said, it was terrible. It wasn't terrible, but you know what I'm saying. Next we have Sting versus Magnus. This is a pretty good match. Magnus won, but it could have been so much better. Like, it just seems like Sting didn't really care. He didn't do that well in the match. You know, he was wearing a shirt. And I just think he looked so stupid wearing a shirt. Like, you know, you're a professional athlete. Why are you wearing a shirt? So it just seemed like he was going for the motions and whatever, and just like, take off your goddamn shirt. It's the biggest show of the year, and you're wearing a stupid shirt. Now, the shirt kind of worked since he had the British flag with his face on it, so that was kind of cool, and, you know, playing mind games with Magnus. But it's like, take off the goddamn shirt, and, you know, I think he's the last person that needs to go in TNA. You know, TNA got rid of Hogan, they got rid of Bischoff. I think Sting's the last one left to kind of, I don't know, I feel like he's kind of holding them back. Like, I mean, it's fine that he's there, but he's really not contributing whatsoever. Like, it really doesn't mean anything, him being there, you know? So, I don't know. I wouldn't mind not seeing him anymore. You know, go to WWE, wrestle Undertaker, retire, the end. But, yeah, he just didn't perform very well. Magnus had to carry him in this match, so yeah. And that was about it. It was just pretty good. That was it. And last but not least, we have Bully Ray vs. AJ for the TNA World Title. Good match. AJ wins and is your new TNA World Champion. So when I first saw this, I saw with all the interference, you know, like a couple minutes into the match, we had Garrett Bischoff, and then Knox, whatever, and I'm like, oh shit, that's terrible, you know, like, what the hell? And I was waiting for Mr. Anderson to appear, and I was waiting for those 3 guys to appear that he was talking to backstage. None of that ever happened, and yeah, but it was a good match. They did some crazy stuff. That 450 was nuts. I just thought it was a good match. It was. Like I said, when I first saw this, I was like, this is terrible. This is awful. This is trash. Why are they having this? But watching it all together, I thought it was good. It was a solid main event for TNA, and AJ is the new world champion. I like that a lot. We'll talk more about this when we get to TNA, but like I said, I really enjoy this. So overall, the pay-per-view sucked. It didn't suck, it wasn't that good. It was supposed to be a WrestleMania type thing, and it just wasn't, so that was that. I mean, watch it, because it's TNA's biggest show, but other than that, it was nothing. Alright, next we have RAW. I'm looking at stuff, see if there's stuff I want to talk about. Not really. It was just build up towards Hell in a Cell. I like what they're doing now. I don't know if they're doing it still, but on this episode of Raw, this was the first episode that they did, where they had Actually, no, this wasn't the first episode. I think Santino was the first. I don't remember. But having wrestlers do stuff with the merchandise. Like, I know one week they had R-Truth, one week they had Santino. And I like that a lot. I think it's pretty creative. It does something for the people that aren't doing stuff on the show. You know, R-Truth might have not appeared, but, you know, having him in this little spot, I thought it was pretty cool, and I thought he did a good job, so that was cool. So, that was the Raw before Hell in a Cell. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Next we got NXT. This was just more build-up towards Corey Graves and Adrian Neville's feud. And that was that. Next we got Impact. So this was the Impact after Bound for Glory. We had Dixie. She tried to, you know, apologize to AJ for all the stuff that she did and whatever. And, you know, she wants him to join her into like an alliance type thing. He says no. Bully Ray comes out. They set up a rematch for the main event. Anderson comes out, attacks Bully Ray. I don't know why they did this at an Impact. I guess it makes sense. I mean, if they did have him interfere, it would have looked pretty shitty on AJ's part. But if they had all the aces and eights guys gang up on him, and then Mr. Anderson makes the save, I think it would have been better. But whatever, Mr. Anderson makes his return and attacks Bully Ray. Next we have... What else did we have? Let's just talk about the main event. AJ Styles and Bully Ray TNA World Title match. AJ wins. After the match, Dixie offers him a contract. He declines and says he's leaving TNA with the world title. So I want to talk about this on the next episode of Impact, because I really like what they did with this angle. And where WWE, like, okay, let's just call it what it is. They copied this angle from WWE. You know, they did this thing with Punk in WWE. It worked out great. You know, pipe bombs, that's where all this started. And it worked out very well. One thing that I thought they dropped the ball on in this whole storyline was they had Punk come back way too soon. And they didn't have him. It didn't seem like he left with the WWE title. It just seemed like he was gone for a while. Where in TNA, I like what they're doing with AJ. You know, he's defending the title in Mexico, in Japan, and all across the world. And it makes it seem like, wow, he really did leave the company. And we know all the backstage stuff with AJ, and you know how he didn't have a contract and whatever. And so it seemed cool, and I like that, like AJ, you know, just doing his thing across the world. I would have liked to see him maybe appear on a Ring of Honor show to show him more legitimate, instead of like all these Japan and Mexico shows that no one's gonna watch. Not that they're. What I mean by that is, Ring of Honor is more of a public thing, and it'd be like really cool to see AJ come back, and he has the TNA World Title, and maybe he has a special one-off match with. Who's it? Adam Cole. That'd be sick. Adam Cole, AJ, TNA versus Ring of Honor. That would have been awesome. So that would have been cool, but they didn't end up doing that. But I like what they did with this angle. Next we have SmackDown. I don't think SmackDown had anything I wanted to talk about. Just more build up for Hell in a Cell. Next we have Ring of Honor. Oh, so this was like the first show I saw as Adam Cole as the heel Ring of Honor World Champion, and I want to talk about it. I like it a lot. I like the way that he carries himself. I like his entrance, the way he comes out with the title. You know, he's in a suit. He's acting like he's actually the world champion. He's acting like Ric Flair, like a classic heel champion. And you know, he's cocky and he thinks he's better than everybody. And I love the way he handles himself. I love this promo. He's a great wrestler. He can back it up. And I really like heel Adam Cole. I loved it. I love the whole thing with Michael Elgin and Jay Briscoe. And I can't wait to see their three-way match. So Adam Cole as a heel champion, fucking amazing. Probably one of the best champions they've had in a while. Ever since Steen. I didn't really like Jay Briscoe as world champion. That was whatever. I like Steen, not Jay Briscoe, and I'm loving Adam Cole. The main event, actually, this is a lot. The main event was Forever Hooligans, Red Dragon, and CNC Wrestle Factory in a three-way for the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. Good match. Red Dragon wins. They retain their titles. I want to talk about Bennett. After the match, he had a match with Maria, Brutal Bob, and Cheeseburger. And after the match, he bragged about retiring BJ Whitmer and says he has the best pile driver. And then Steen comes out and pretty much just setting up this feud for like a pile driver war. And I think that's cool. It's a cool little feud between the two of them, and I can't wait to watch some of their matches. And after this, we're supposed to have Glory by Honor, but like I said, we're going to save that for next week. So let's jump into Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell was a pretty good show. It was a little bit better than than Bound for Glory, if not just the same, which is pretty crazy, especially for TNA's biggest show of the year. It was on par with Hell in a Cell. So the way it started, I love this match, the way it started. The Shield, Goldust, and Cody Rhodes versus the Usos for the WWE Tag Team titles. Great match. I really love this opener. Great tag team show, or great tag team match. Great way to start the show. Lots of high action, lots of great tag team stuff. They had a crazy suplex spot. It was awesome. I just really, really enjoyed this match. Cody and Goldust won. Love the fact that they're tag team champions. Love me some Goldust. And I really, really enjoyed this. Next, we had The Miz come out, and he called out Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. Eric Rowan and Luke Harper come out, attack Miz. Kane comes out, makes the save, and takes out Harper, Rowan, and then chokeslams The Miz. So I like this. This is kind of like what Austin used to do, even though he was like a heel or a face. He would attack the heels and the face. So I like this. And just shows that Kane is like a monster, and he doesn't care who's in the way. You're getting chokeslammed. What else do we got? Next we have Fandango and Summer Rae versus Great Khali and Natalya. This was a blah match. Summer Rae and Fandango won. This felt like it went on forever. This was like a 5-minute match. Felt like a 50-minute match. It was so boring. I hated this. Next we had Dean Ambrose versus Biggie Langston for the U.S. title. Originally this was supposed to be Curtis Axel versus Biggie Langston, but Curtis Axel got injured. So they're like, oh, since you can't have an IC title shot, let's make you take on Dean Ambrose. And they had a U.S. title match. It was okay. Biggie won by countout. Next we had CM Punk versus Ryback and Paul Heyman in a Hell in a Cell match. Good match. Punk wins. After the match, Punk beats up Heyman on the top of the cell. So this feud is over. Thank God. It just felt like it went on too long, especially when they brought in Ryback and tried to drag it out some more. I just thought it sucked. Next, you had Los Matadors versus Real Americans. Pretty good match. Los Matadors win. Next, we got John Cena versus Del Rio for the world title. Good match. Cena wins and is the new world champion. He had a great return. Happy to see him. I'm happy to see that title off Del Rio. I wish Damien Sandow would have got involved, and we'll talk more about him on the Raw after. But okay, so let's just talk about it now, whatever. On the Raw after, we had Damien Sandow cash in the Money in the Bank against John Cena, and he unsuccessfully cashed in, and he's no longer the uncrowned world champion or whatever. that kind of sucks. But I didn't know that. Knowing now, since they're gonna do the unification match, that what was I gonna say? So they did the unification match at TLC. So now there's only gonna be one champion. And what I would have liked to seen is either Sandow cash in either here or on the Raw and win the title, hold it till Survivor Series, and then have a three-way at Survivor Series, have Cena win, and then you can have Del Rio and Sandow. They can feud and do something for the next couple weeks to a month. They didn't end up doing that. I think they blocked out Sandow altogether because he cashed in on Raw, and then they did something on SmackDown with Sandow and Cena, and then at Survivor Series, I think it was just Del Rio and Cena, and Sandow, he didn't even appear on, I don't think he appeared on Survivor Series, so he got completely just destroyed. And one thing I really liked about the Money in the Bank, is the fact that they could use it to kind of push somebody. But now with the fact that they're having one world champion, things are going to be a lot different. You know, we're only going to have one Money in the Bank, one Elimination Chamber. Whoever wins the Royal Rumble is going to face that champion. And there's positive and negatives to having one champion. I like the one champion thing. I think it's cool. A couple things I think they should change as far as title-wise is, okay, so they have the one world champion. I think they should get rid of the U.S. Championship, keep the IC title, and make that actually mean something again. And make it to where, like, whoever's the IC champion is kind of like the second best in the company kind of thing. Like, he's a top star, but not the top star. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the IC title used to mean, like, greatness. And so get rid of the U.S. title, make it the WWE title, the IC title, the tag titles, the women's title. Now that'd be 4. What I think they should do, and they're probably not going to, but I would like to see the return, at least another 1 or 2 championships added to WWE. I would like to see the hardcore title return. I don't see that happening, but I think the hardcore title would be really cool. You know, it'd be different. You know, you have the 24/7 rule, where anyone can win it anywhere, and especially now with WWE doing so many YouTube things and like backstage fallouts and all that, you can have a title change there. JBL and Cole Show have a tag team or a hardcore title shot there, title match, title change, whatever. And I think that'd be really cool. And you know, hey, you should have watched on the WWE app. You would have seen backstage that Zack Ryder just won the hardcore title from Santino Marella or something. And I think it would add a lot to the show. Definitely add some backstage programs, some more segments to the show. With the hardcore title, it pretty much, since it's anyone can win it, there's not like you don't have to, there's not like a certain prerequisite to winning the title. Anyone can win it. So you can have fucking John Cena win it, JTG win it, you can have Curtis Axel, Paul Heyman, you can have all these different people win it, and I think it'd be really cool. I think it would add a lot to the show. Another title I think they should bring back, well, not bring back, but maybe even consider, is the Cruiserweight title. They have a lot of mid-card, high-flyer guys that would fit well in there, and I think that'd be pretty cool to bring back. But I don't know if they want to separate the Cruiserweights from the heavyweights, and just make it everyone is on an equal playing field. Another thing they could do is bring in a new title, a TV title type thing, and you know, have different people hold it. You know, since they have so much TV, they have Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Main Event, Superstars. This title can be defended every week if they wanted to, defend it on pay-per-views. I think it'd be pretty cool, especially since they have so much TV. A TV championship would be pretty cool. And especially now, since they only have one champion, one world champion, I'd love to see King of the Ring return. And, you know, have a King of the Ring person win the tournament, and then go on to face the champion at some pay-per-view. Probably SummerSlam or something. And I think that'd be really cool. I'd like to see King of the Ring return. Hopefully, we'll see. But probably not going to happen. So that's that. But if they weren't going to unify the titles, I think they would have given Damien Sandow a cash in and win the title. But since they're unifying them, and I'm really interested to see, now that they're only going to have one champion, what's the WWE title picture going to look like? Is it going to be John Cena and Randy Orton having a match every pay-per-view for the next 2 years? Are there going to be different people integrated into that? Is Punk going to be in there? Is Daniel Bryan going to be in there? Is Del Rio, Sandow, all these different guys? Are they going to be... I don't know, it just seems like there's definitely going to be people that are not going to get a title shot. I don't see Dolph Ziggler getting a WWE title shot anytime soon. I don't see The Miz getting one ever. Maybe ever. I don't see, like, those guys. I just, now that there's only one champion, we're never going to see, like, I don't know. I just feel like the title's always either going to stay on John Cena or Randy Orton. Or maybe even Daniel Bryan. That's something I'm really interested in seeing going into the future. Like, what's the WWE title picture gonna look like? Who's gonna be involved? Who are gonna be some of the big players in there? Because like, looking from the outside in, it just looks like no one, like, there's gonna be a glass ceiling and no one's gonna be able to go past that glass ceiling. Like, I feel Dolph Ziggler, he's not gonna be able to pass that glass ceiling. Like, he was world champion before. I don't think he's going to do it again, though. So, we'll just have to wait and see. So, John Cena, new world champion. Cool. Next, we have AJ versus Brie Bella for the Divas title. Pretty good match. AJ wins. It looked like Tamina almost busted her face on the ring apron, so they had a spot, whatever the Bellas were doing something. Nikki grabbed her leg. Now, I don't know if it was Tamina's fault or Nikki's fault. Maybe she pulled her leg too hard, and it just looked like Tamina lost her balance. She, boom, blasted her face on the ring apron. And she wasn't bleeding or anything, but it looked very, very vicious. So that was kind of cool. In the main event, we had Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton for the WWE title in a Hell in a Cell match with special guest referee Shawn Michaels. Good match. Randy Orton wins and is the new WWE champion after Shawn Michaels turns on Daniel Bryan and super kicks him in the face. It was a good way to end the show. Something shocking. We'll talk more about Shawn Michaels and Daniel Bryan in a few seconds on Raw, but I really like this, and I hope it leads to a match at WrestleMania. I'll talk about that in just a second, but overall, I liked Hell in a Cell. It was a pretty good show. Definitely better than the past couple shows that they've been having, you know, Battlegrounds and Night of Champions and stuff, so hopefully Survivor Series is really good. That's all I can hope for. So next we got Raw. So we already talked about this, you know, Sandow cashed in and whatever. Another thing I would have liked to see is maybe Sandow cash in and then Del Rio gets involved and costs Sandow the match, and that would lead to a three-way at Survivor Series. We didn't have that either. I just really didn't like the fact that Sandow cashed in and then immediately got axed from that feud. I thought it definitely should have been Sandow, Del Rio, and Cena at Survivor Series. What else? Next they teased some tension with the Shield in a backstage promo. When Ambrose said that he's the only champion the Shield had left, Roman and Rollins just stared at him like really angrily. So is the end of the Shield coming soon? And what is that going to lead to? I've read a lot of things, like people like Roman Reigns is going to be the next top superstar, whatever. Personally, I don't see it yet. Like, he'd probably be like a mid-card guy, but like I said, now with WWE having only one title, him being like a top guy, like I said, that glass ceiling's there. I don't think he's going to go past it. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I wonder what they're going to do with the Shield breakup. Like, what's it going to lead to? How's it going to end? Are they going to have a three-way match like Evolution did? Not Evolution. Legacy did when they broke up. They had a three-way at WrestleMania. I wonder what it's gonna be. I think Roman's is gonna turn on Ambrose and win the U.S. title. I think. Well, I don't know. I think that might happen. And then if they do that, it's like, what's Rollins gonna do? And that's what I'm just interested. I'm interested to see how they're gonna break up and what everyone's gonna do. So. Yeah. What else did we had? We had Shawn Michaels come out and call out Daniel Bryan. He came out, Shawn says he did it because Triple H is a friend of his and he wants Bryan to accept his apology. Bryan comes out, he declines Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels cuts a heel promo on him. Bryan shakes his hand and puts him in the yes lock. And they broke it up. I really, really like this because it gave Bryan a more serious tone. You know, they've tried to do some serious stuff with him with the Authority and like beating him up and making him look like the underdog. But this just, it had a whole different tone to it. Like, Bryan, he didn't crack a smile. He had a really stone cold face and just a very serious thing about him. And I really like that because, you know, up until now, Daniel Bryan's been kind of that goofy character. He's been kind of like that good wrestler, but kind of goofy personality type thing. And I hope to God they continue with this feud because I really like it. I think it'll bring something out of Daniel Bryan. We'll take him more seriously as a character. Like, we already take him seriously as a wrestler, but I don't think we take him seriously enough as a character. And I think if they were to do this match and this feud, I think Shawn Michaels can bring out like a serious side in Daniel Bryan, and that could definitely elevate him. Now, if they don't have this match in WrestleMania 30, I will be really disappointed. I mean, the build-up's already there. You know, one more match, WrestleMania 30. Like, I know a lot of people want Daniel Bryan to win the WWE title at WrestleMania, but it's like, I don't know what I'd rather have. Would I rather have him win the WWE title at WrestleMania or face Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania? I don't know. I think probably Shawn Michaels would help him out in the long run, especially doing that whole feud and, like I said, that serious side, and he could have a more serious feud with people. I think that would be better than him winning the WWE title. Honestly, that's just my opinion though, but I think it would help him out in the long run. And then after this, we had the Wyatts attack Daniel Bryan backstage. Bray Wyatt said something really interesting when he attacked Daniel Bryan. He was like, "The devil made me do it." Now, is he insinuating somebody? Is he talking about Triple H? Is he talking about Vince McMahon? Because it just seems like the Wyatts are attacking anybody. If you look at who they've attacked over the couple weeks, they attacked Kane, then they attacked Miz and Kofi Kingston, and then Daniel Bryan. These are all kind of people that have stood up against the Authority. So could it be, you know, maybe Triple H or Vince McMahon kind of playing that background player for the Wyatts? Is that who the Bray Wyatt's talking about all the time when he says the devil made me do it? Is it them? You gotta really think about it. I think it might be. I think it could be in the long run. That'd be interesting. We'd have to wait to find out. But other than that, it seemed really, really random that the Wyatts attacked Daniel Bryan. And then CM Punk. And apparently this leads to a tag team match at Survivor Series. Talk about random. You know, Punk goes from feuding with Heyman and Ryback to feuding with the Wyatts in just a snap of a second. And same thing with Daniel Bryan. He goes from feuding with Randy Orton and the Authority for the WWE title to getting put in a thing with the Wyatts. But yeah, it just seemed kind of random. What else do we got? Oh, this was interesting. The Miz versus Kane, they had a match. Blah match. Kane won like 2 seconds. After the match, Kane calls out Stephanie McMahon. And Kane says he's going to join the Authority because that's what's best for business. And then he takes off his mask and he gives it to Stephanie and she just holds it up. And I'm really interested to see what this comes to. I know he's part of the Kane, he doesn't have his mask anymore. He's part of the Authority as I don't know his position, but I'm just really interested to see like what they're gonna do with Kane, because now they've unmasked him again. You know, he went from masked to unmasked to masked again, and now he's unmasked, and now he's in a suit. This big monster's in a suit. I don't know what's it gonna lead to. That's what I'm more interested in it. What else do we got? We had the main event segment, which was the Authority celebrating Randy Orton's WWE title win. Big Show comes in and beats up Orton, and Triple H teased getting in the ring. Is this gonna lead to a Triple H Big Show match? I don't know, cause now it just seems like, cause from what I've read, Big Show and Orton have a match at Survivor Series. And then now Orton's doing the whole unification thing with Cena at TLC. And then Big Show's teaming up with Rey Mysterio in a tag team match? What? What was all that months and months of build-up for? Yeah, sure, they had the WWE title match, but wasn't the real match really based on, like, Triple H and Big Show? Like, what about that? I don't know. We'll have to wait. Maybe they did answer it, and just in the coming weeks, maybe it'll make sense. What else? Next we got NXT. Nothing really big, especially like these upcoming episodes of NXT were pretty lackluster. I don't think Bo Dallas was there. Sami Zayn wasn't there. There's a couple other guys that just weren't on the show. I think they were on a tour with WWE across Europe. So they took like all the top superstars from NXT, and then NXT was just like CJ Parker and Tyler Breeze. Like, that was the main events, you know? Like, that's pretty shitty, to me at least. So yeah, that kind of sucked. Next we have Impact. Dixie talks about AJ is no longer the world champion, and they're going to have a world title tournament. Of course, by now we know Magnus wins and is the new world champion. But, yeah, I think it's a pretty good idea. I'm glad they didn't hotshot it in one night. I think that's what they did in WWE, right? I think they had a title tournament in one night to determine a new champion. I don't remember, but, I like this is going to have some build-up. You know, we have 8 of the top superstars in TNA Impact. They're all former world champions, and they all have an opportunity to do it again. So I really like that. What else do we get? The main event of Impact was Kurt Angle vs. Bobby Roode in a rematch. Again, another shitty finish. Good match. Roode wins after Angle can't get up. Now, there's two things you gotta look at it here. I see it from two perspectives. On one perspective, I don't like it because it makes it seem like Angle is not even in condition to wrestle and compete in a wrestling match, and they just keep throwing him out there. And on the other perspective, you make it seem like Roode, he looks like a beast for outlasting an Olympic world champion. I don't know which perspective to go with on here. I'm kind of like on the fence with both. But it just it doesn't make Angle seem really, you know, terrible. Like he's not training and shit, so. I don't know, that's just me. What else do we got? Smackdown, nothing really I want to talk about. Next we got Ring of Honor. Oh, this was good, I want to talk about this. So it starts out with Jimmy Jacobs versus Silas Young. They didn't really have a match. It was just Silas talking a bunch of crap to Jimmy and whatever, and then he speared him as soon as it started. But I love the storyline going into this. So it all started from Death Before Dishonor, where BJ Whitmore announced his retirement from the neck injury. And, you know, he's in the ring with Nigel, and he's thanking the fans and whatever. He's like, Nigel, there's one person I want you to do me a favor. Like, my parting gift for you to do something for me as I leave the company. He's like, I want you to give Jimmy Jacobs a chance. Even though he's a part of Scum and whatever, you know, he deserves a chance. He's one of my greatest friends and enemies in this business, and he deserves another chance, and whatever. And I just thought it was an awesome, from a storyline perspective, because Jimmy and BJ, they have so much history. You know, they're tag team champions, and then they feuded together in a bloody feud, and their respect between them. And now, you know, BJ, you know, his last wish, his dying breath, he's like, I want you to give Jimmy a chance. You know, my career's over, but don't let his career over. Give him another chance and let him be a part of the company. So now Jimmy Jacobs is a part in all these series of matches. He has 5 matches. If he can compete in the matches and not cheat to win, then I think he'll get a contract. But if he wins 3 of the matches, he gets a world title shot. So that's pretty cool. And I really like this this storyline. Next we had Ricky Marvin versus Davey Richards. Good match. Davey wins. Ricky Marvin is a wrestler from Mexico. I don't know what company he wrestles for, but it was a good match. I really enjoyed it. I didn't think it was going to be good because you look at Ricky Marvin and he looks pretty out of shape, but he can actually do some pretty cool, amazing stuff. And I just love it when Ring of Honor brings in international talent from Mexico, Japan, England. That I really like that because I get to be introduced to people I've never seen before. You know, like Kenta and Kobashi and Ricky Marvin and Forever Hooligans and stuff. So I really like this. Carl Anderson, that's another one. So yeah, I really enjoyed this match. Last but not least, the main event was Kevin Steen versus Eddie Edwards in a good match. Eddie wins. Michael Bennett pile drove Steen before the match, just kind of furthering their feud. That was cool. And yeah, just another good edition of Ring of Honor. And so that's it for the reviews. Next we got some news I want to talk about. So you definitely already saw on TNA Impact, if you're subscribed to their YouTube page, that they've been doing this new thing where the action never ends. And basically it's like they're doing these YouTube videos where it's like the camera's always rolling and you get to take a look into the personal lives of all the TNA superstars and all the stuff they get to do behind the stage and or backstage and at home and all this stuff. And I've been watching some of the stuff and I think it just looks really shitty, especially since it's like all done with a camera phone. The quality looks like shit. And it just, I don't know, it's the same people doing stuff. Bromans did a lot of stuff. Bad Influence did a lot of stuff. I know Hernandez did some stuff, some working out at his house. Brooke Tessmacher, she did the twerk stuff. I don't know. I think it's pretty dumb. It's just my opinion. I don't think it's needed. I don't know. I just think it's kind of worthless. Just a waste of time, in my opinion. I mean, it's more stuff for them to pump out for social media and YouTube and stuff. But I think it should be more quality than quantity. Where it should be good little stuff and instead of just a bunch of stuff. So I think that sucks. You guys can let me know in the comments. Do you like the TNA where the action never ends, all the YouTube stuff they're doing? And if so, what do you like about it? Let me know in the comments. So yeah, I haven't personally liked it too much. What else? Going around this time was rumors that the Carter family, Dixie Carter and her family, are looking to sell TNA. These are a bunch of huge rumors, you know. So basically the way TNA works is Dixie Carter's family, the Carters, own either an oil company or an electric Panda Energy. I think it's an electric company in wherever, and they're fucking rich, filthy rich, and they make a shit ton of money, and they give Dixie the money to run her own wrestling company. And Dixie, you know, they've been going through some changes in TNA. You know, they released a bunch of people and, you know, taking cutbacks, and they're not going to go on the road anymore. I think. I don't know if they've done that yet. There's been some rumors that they're going to go back to the Impact Zone, which I think's been confirmed. It's not in the news here, but maybe it is in the upcoming weeks. I think they're going back to the Impact Zone, which is whatever, you know. It's a lesson they had to learn. You know, go on the road, try it out. Hey, they couldn't do it. All right, go back. Same thing with the live TV. You know, they did the live TV, and it wasn't working out, so I think they stopped doing it, so that was fine. But yeah, now there's rumors that the Carters want to sell the company, and they've lost a lot of money. They haven't been making any money back. They just keep pumping and pumping. It's pretty much like taking money and flushing it down the toilet. That's what it's kind of like. And, you know, Hogan definitely helped with that. He took a fuck ton of money and ran. Bischoff took a fuck ton of money and ran. A lot of people came to TNA, took a lot of money, and ran away. And some of them are taking a lot of money, and they're still there. And then there's the wrestlers that are there and don't make any money at all. And there's wrestlers that have left because they haven't made money at all. Or haven't gotten TV time at all. But I think money plays an important part to it, so. Because if you don't appear, you don't get paid, so. Yeah, so they're looking to sell the company. You know, they haven't got a lot of money back from it, and they feel like they're wasting money, and they want to get rid of it. And Dixie Carter posted a thing on Twitter. She was like, "Oh, you know, this is just a rumor, whatever." And then it was rumored that Billy Corgan, the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, I believe it is. Let me see. He's the frontman of the Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah, he's a huge wrestling fan, and he was rumored to be one of the people to be looking to buy the company. And I hope the Carters keep it, at least for now, especially since they're so involved in that Dixie feud and whatever, and she's like a main heel, and if, you know, they were to sell the company to whoever, you know, Dixie probably wouldn't be a part of it, and it's pretty much like TNA hitting the restart button again. I mean, they just did that, you know, usually after every Bound for Glory, it's like, okay, we're going to hit the reset button, and we're going to start fresh. And they pretty much just started fresh, and then for them to start fresh again would like really hurt TNA. So hopefully the sale doesn't go through for a while. If there is a sale, I don't know if the Carters are going to keep the company or whatever. I'm reading right here that they're not in a rush to complete the sale, but they are definitely listening to offers. So we'll definitely keep listening to this story to see if there are people actually interested in buying TNA. Because that'd be interesting. I don't know. Would that hurt TNA? Would that be good for TNA? Let me know in the comments. Do you think the Carters and Dixie Carter should let go of TNA? Maybe Jeff Jarrett regains control of TNA again. You know, what would be the right step for TNA in your opinion? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see. And apparently Eric Bischoff is no longer in TNA, which is cool, because like I said, him and Hogan, they came, they took the money, and they ran. That's what they did, and it sucks to see. And the fact that they were there for so long, and like they never got released or anything, it looked really bad on TNA's part. Like they just raped them for all the money and reaped all the benefits. So now that they're gone, you know, we definitely see that TNA has gotten a better product and they can carry on without Hogan. I don't know what the ratings are. Don't really care. I'm not too worried about the ratings. I'm not the network. I'm the fan. I care about the product, not the ratings. So that's all I care about. I care about the wrestling, what's going on, is it interesting, is it not? That's my job as a fan. Do I like the product or do I not? Am I watching? Should I watch? Whatever. But I think it's pretty good. I like the steps that they're taking, and we'll see in the future. So that's it for the weekly wrestling review. I know it was a long one, but like I said, it's been a few weeks, months, and definitely had some catching up to do. Definitely a lot of wrestling to talk about, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Come back next time where we got reviews for TNA One Night Only, the world title thing, Glory by Honor by Ring of Honor, and 2 weeks worth of Raw, Smackdown, Impact, NXT, whatever else comes out in between there. I know Total Divas is back. Well, it's already gone, but we're going to be reviewing that in the upcoming weeks when it comes back. And yeah, so definitely going to be trying to pump these up more often. So look forward to that. I say that every time and I never do it. And I say that every time and I never do it. But I'm gonna really try this time. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Catch us next time. And until then, guys, peace out.